It may seem that the story of you is chaotic. However, in reality, it is not. The more stories you pass through, the more likely you will be to piece it into one whole picture. Use every possible opportunity. The truth is somewhere close.
What's up, everybody? My name is You, and it's the only unusual thing in my life. The game. Not you, specifically, but then again, if I were you, then who would you be? Would you be me? Or would you be somebody else entirely? Maybe you were never you to begin with. Maybe your whole life is a lie. You ever think about that? Ugh. That's some pretty heavy perspective to put into. So yes, this is a game about a man named You. It's a choice-based story with different endings depending on the choices that you make. I already played this. Kind of didn't realize that I didn't have the audio on for the desktop. I always seem to have issues with OBS for some reason. Like, I go to record, and, sometimes my voice records, but you don't see the picture, and other times the picture records, but you don't hear my voice, and then other times you hear my voice, and the volume is very, very low. So, that's one of the reasons why I stopped playing Deponia. But in the meantime, I'm going to restart the story from the beginning. I'm going down the same path I went last time. I'll just make a commentary. So let's begin with You.
I suppose I will start at the very beginning.
The beginning is always the best place to start. It lets you know exactly what's going on.
Chapter 1.
First chapter.
Once upon a time, there lived You.
What, me?
Despite his unusual name, his life was hardly any different from others.
As such is the norm.
It was an unusually usual day when he was getting ready to go to work. 2 hours of sleep. What a formality, he said to himself, glancing at his watch.
2 hours of sleep is just not enough these days. I usually get in like maybe 3 to 4 hours, depending on my work days.
He was used to working at night, just as he was used to never having days off.
My life in a nutshell.
That morning, the buttons on his shirt were fastened faster than usual.
Why? You have someplace special to be? I'm just recording all the funny things I said.
This was not by chance. The tear-off calendar boldly declared Friday, April 3rd.
And there's the joke, because he missed the big day 2 days prior.
It reminded him that there were only 3 work days before his holiday, and there was no room for mistakes.
Otherwise, holiday over with, buddy. Sorry.
His room in a communal apartment was not very big, so it did not take him long to pack. Having got dressed, he quietly walked past the neighbors' rooms into the hallway.
Shh! Don't wake the neighbors.
Somebody was snoring loudly in the furthest room, which caused you to smile for some reason. He walked up to the front door and accidentally stepped on a pile of letters. Picking up the envelopes, he saw his name on one of them. You automatically put it in his pocket and walked out.
Letter achieved. In inventory. Mailman's doing a sloppy job.
The thought that next Sunday, a huge stone would be removed from the entrance to the crypt of his existence by the power of labor legislation, kept you going.
Don't quite get that whole sentence, but okay. I see. I chose to read the letter because, well, what can we wait about? It only take a minute.
Glancing at the address line, a chill went through Yu's body for a split second. From Darina.
Darina.
Yu was confused by the seal on the envelope.
I'm confused.
Indicating the place of departure. No leave grad.
No leave grad.
Is she really coming back to Cannot? Yu wondered.
Is Cannot an actual place, or is this just a part of the game?
Dear Yu, my doctor's suspicions are confirmed. I have the same disease that struck you. I thought it over and decided that we need to break up. It may seem that things like that should bring people closer, but it would be unfair to myself. We can have our last date on the morning of April 3rd in the Seafront Cafe, and then I will leave Cannot and go abroad.
But what if you cannot? Da-dum-dum.
He felt dizzy.
Oof, breakups are tough. And you know what? Screw going to the cafe. She's gonna break up with us anyway. Sayonara.
The trip to work took him by a few blocks, but the road seemed endless that way.
But hang on, I thought I caught this before. He replaced the D with a W. So, is that an error?
Yu suffered from excessive hypochondria. He really had an incurable disease.
Hypochondria. Yeah, I missed that the first time. I don't really know what hypochondria is. I'm gonna have to look that up later. But I'm sure it's any disease is pretty bad, honestly.
That day, when he heard the diagnosis.
You have a diagnosis.
Since that moment, he stopped counting new birthmarks on his body.
New birthmarks? I mean, do you mean birthmarks can just grow over grown up over the course of time?
As soon as he reached the park, he saw a pack of street dogs rushing towards him.
Dog attack.
Deja vu.
Why is it deja vu? This is the first time we're actually having this.
Yu's heart dropped. Time stood still.
Right. I'm gonna run away because freezing in place brought me to an ending very quickly. I'm not gonna spoil what that ending is.
Yu tried to run away, but he barely took a couple of steps and stumbled, falling flat on the ground.
Well,
as soon as he stretched out on the pavement, the dogs lost all interest in him.
I wonder how that works.
Everything that happened seemed to him insanely familiar, bringing back his childhood memories.
So what, does that... Are you telling me that stuff like this has happened to you before? The character you, not
holding onto his neck,
the narrator
and
you.
Feeling old scars against his palm, Yu looked at his ragged suit. His head was buzzing from pain.
Well, I mean, if you hit the ground pretty hard, then yeah, your head's going to be buzzing from pain.
Glancing at his watch, he wondered if it was appropriate to go to work looking like that.
Well, I mean, you're already late. as it is. You know, going home and changing is just going to waste more time, and that can reflect very badly.
You barely caught into the office when two male silhouettes appeared behind him. He turned around and saw his boss and a man he had never seen before, a little farther away.
So, you know, this is all taking place at night because he's a night worker, right?
The boss frowned and cast a reproachful glance at you.
Look, I'm not a part of this, so, you know, just leave me out, Mr. Boss Man. Please.
Figuring they would have to introduce each other, you quickly took off his ragged jacket, hung it on the back of his chair, and extended his hand to the stranger.
Hello, I'm you.
Let me introduce myself. You. My name is Frank. And you?
Wow, how awkward how awkward an introduction that would be. Like, hi, my name is you. You know, I had it better in my head. I can't remember how the banter went, but it's like, my name is you. But I'm not you, I'm me. Who are you? I'm you. You know, that kind of thing.
To avoid unnecessary explanations, you took a name tag from his table and pointed to it.
This is the most weirdest game ever. Because, like, his name is you, but, like, I'm you. Again, that just brings me back to my
Despite the
previous
fact that there was no live communication with clients, the work charter required name tags.
Well, it helps, in a way.
Wow, that's a very unusual name. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
It is the only unusual detail of my life.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be. You can make more things unusual about yourself. Like, for instance, instead of having a car, you can have, like, one of those three-wheeled ATV things, motorbikes or whatever. Be unique, you!
An awkward pause hung in the air.
Yeah, very awkward.
Frank is our security guard starting today.
Now, there are too many people with the name Frank these days. Frank is one of the most common guy names out there.
We have nothing to... A security guard. Some of my important documents are missing. There are only two of us. What kind of documents?
So, there's only two people working at this place. You and the boss guy. So, if some important documents are missing, and neither one... I'm gonna go out on them here and say that they've just been misplaced.
That I cannot tell you.
Confidential files.
You mean you suspect me?
No, he suspects you. I'm bad at these you jokes, I know.
No, I do not. Clean yourself up. What is wrong with your hands?
Oh, well, you know. Life happens. You wake up, you decide, hey, I'm gonna do something unusual about my life. You go outside, you get yourself into the dirt, start doing some push-ups, maybe roll around.
Eliminating any opportunity to continue this conversation, the boss turned around and went into his office.
Back to my office.
The room
Be better next time.
into silence. You got down to some clerical work.
But I'm not doing work. Technically I am doing work I'm just recording.
Yu was sitting at his sturdy desk, imagining again and again how the shelves, stocked with books on jurisprudence, would break loose due to their own weight from friable concrete and break his head.
That's not a pleasant thought to think of at all. That would kill him.
Allowing himself a little break, Yu took his diary from his table drawer and made a note. I never took a plate of soup at school lunches, even when I really wanted to. I was afraid to spill it in front of everyone, but I could put it on the table, which seems to be my life's pattern.
Soup doesn't go on plates, it goes in bowls.
Feeling some satisfaction from writing that, he resumed work. There was a rustle of the janitor's broom and the trill of birds outside the window. More accurate than the clock, you thought?
Okay, so I guess it's taking place during the day. I don't know. I thought he worked nights. But yeah, hey, at least he has windows.
Chapter 2.
Well, I'm doing good so far. Well, let's see how far I can go.
On the second day of work, every sip of coffee came out of his nose as blood.
He's overworking himself too much.
Covering his nose with his hand, Yu went to the restroom.
But I don't have to go. Oh, wait, you mean the character, you. Excuse me, sorry.
Excuse me. I wish I could narrate a little faster and keep you from getting bored. But it is difficult in my condition.
Wait a minute. Is you narrating this? That's an interesting plot twist. But hey, no worries, you. You're not boring me at all. I'm trying to help out with this with your narrative by making jokes, even though they're pretty bad and lame.
Let's continue.
Yes, let's see how far I can go.
Returning to his workplace, Yu saw Frank sitting at his table and leafing through his personal diary.
Wait, Yu's personal diary or Frank's personal diary?
Such
okay.
violation of personal boundaries, it seemed, was about to put Yu out of temper.
Why would a security guard go through some... Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he just wants information. Let's try not to be rude. Just ask nicely. And we want people to like us.
Give it to me.
Hey! That's not asking. That's demanding.
Here, take it. I was curious.
Be nice
In
to
a moment,
Frank.
Yu hid his diary in the drawer of his desk.
This is getting kind of confusing. I mean, I know it's the character you, but when it says you, you know, sometimes it makes me think of me, and the narrator is actually referring to me as a person doing things that I'm not even doing. It's weird.
I am sorry if I offended you.
Well, I mean, you should know what not to do, buddy.
The incident seemed to be over, but Frank's intrusive nature got the better of him. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Why does everyone in your notes die?
What? Are you writing a story? Or do people literally die? I want to know the answer.
perhaps the lack of communication affected you. Unexpectedly for himself, he answered the question directly.
Oh, so he's not a talkative person
I'm
much.
not sure, but it seems to me that the desire to kill a self-protagonist in the text takes root in the desire to alienate the described situations from a real self.
Huh? So I guess in a sense, he kills people so he can keep himself from. Hang on, I'm trying to make sense of this. Like, I guess in a way, it's an outlet, maybe. An outlet that, you know, allows him to reveal his dark thoughts, his dark desires of what to do, maybe? I don't know.
You said it as if he had prepared an answer to this question a long time ago. Or, at least he had thought about it before.
Well, I mean, you seems to have a, really thoughtful mind, honestly, with all that darkness he's thinking of.
Silence set in. Frank was embarrassed by his answer and tried to look understanding.
I mean, I think that's the sense that I'm getting out of understanding. I don't know. I'm very confused.
Well, more likely that it is just easier to kill.
Okay, this just took a dark turn.
The office phone rang.
Yeah, you know, we were making this awkward now, so I'm gonna go answer the phone. I don't know what's going on.
As soon as you came up to the phone, the ringing stopped.
Well, you obviously let the phone ring for too long. That or the person just decided to hang up.
He barely returned to his desk when the phone rang again.
Or the phone's cursed. I'm gonna try answering the call again. If it happens the third time, I'm ignoring it.
As soon as you came up to the phone, the ringing stopped.
Okay, stop playing mind games with me.
He barely returned to his desk when the phone rang again.
I'm not answering it. I'm not answering it this time. Someone's playing a cool prank here.
The ringing bored into his skull. You was buzzing together with the receiver. You involuntarily took off, but his head started spinning, and he was seeing dark spots.
Is you alright?
Holding onto the railing, you slid down the stairs and jumped out onto the street.
I don't like where this is going.
He ran into his boss at the door, who stood there smoking.
Oh, okay.
Go to bed now. You can give me the rest of the papers tomorrow.
I have literally no idea what's going on at the moment.
He did not have any strength left to work anyway.
Yeah, work does tend to drain you.
Although he left some things in the office, he was not in a hurry to go back. He sat down on the doorstep to rest. His vision was not particularly keen on the second day, so it took him a while to recognize a familiar face.
Wait. It kind of reminds me of May from Night in the Woods, where she also saw with shapes and couldn't recognize anyone. Maybe I'm thinking of a different kind of disease. I forgot what that was.
You livened a little. A welcoming grin appeared on his face.
Who is it?
Hi, Max. Why are you not at work?
Hold on, wait, what? But I thought you was the only other person. Unless the boss does a count. So then it's just Max and you. Right? This is...
I dismissed my students a little early. How are you feeling?
Oh, okay, so Max is a teacher.
As usual, another night shift. If I was your father, I would have fired you long ago.
Okay, back to the previous one. I guess he was working the night shift and he was just looking at the birds. I guess it was the sun was evening. Because birds do fly around during the evening. But this what? I'm gonna keep going.
What will be left for me then?
Well, I mean, you could always start your life anew. Find something you're good at.
Max answered with a question.
Let me answer that question with a question.
Do you want me to take your shift?
I mean, if you would. Oh, no, thanks. We're good, thank you, Max.
No, thank you.
It's appreciated, but...
You quickly said goodbye and left.
No, it's best just to keep our job, you know what I mean?
He heard some painful coughing behind his back, and his lips let out a grin of satisfaction. Coming home, Yu could barely stand on his feet.
That's how most of my mornings are. I'm barely able to keep up on my feet.
His lack of sleep and fatigue, he could not fall asleep.
Do any of us really ever get any sleep these days anymore? Like, you fall asleep, you go to sleep, depending on how long your body decides to rest, you know, you get up and you're instantly tired. Like, how I guess it's just with the older you get, or maybe the thought process of thinking that you're young in mind.
The day flashed in his head on repeat. As for the breakup, he did not see himself as the victim.
Ooh, that's a whole nother topic that's not worth getting into, honestly. That's kind of a personal thing there.
On the contrary, the entire time during his relationship with Dorina, you wondered, why did she love him? Drained of all strength and weak in spirit from birth.
I'm sure there was a reason why she stayed.
He did not anymore. Dizziness and pain subsided.
As he fell into the dark, deep abyss of sleep.
At some point, he even thought about calling a doctor, just to make sure that he was still alive.
Are any of us really alive anymore these days? We just walk around like we're mindless, drained, soulless zombies.
But sleep took its toll. Chapter 3.
Okay, well, I think this is a good place to stop for now. You know, I got further than what I definitely got further than what I expected to get. Seem to be making all the right choices. It's a very good game so far. Kind of dark, but you know, with my commentary, you know, I try to balance it out. The light with the dark. So anyway, yes, I will continue this in the next episode. So, in the meantime, if you liked this episode, please like, comment, and share. And don't forget to subscribe to see more in the future. I'll catch you later! You guys, the ones who watch my series, not you, the character. Well, I'll see him too, but...